So what is your craziest story about speaking? Could be a trip that you took or something that happened at a speaking engagement. For those of you who aren't speakers, I'd love to hear your craziest travel story. Share it in a bed talk or just share it in the comments. Here's mine. I was scheduled to do a series of speaking engagements starting in San Antonio, Texas, then going to Nijmegen in the Netherlands, then going to Pakistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Dubai. And most of those places were easy to get to, but Pakistan required you to get a visa, which means you had to send your passport actually to the Pakistani embassy in Washington, D.C., and it could take months with very little feedback in order to get that visa in your passport. And so I was getting ready to leave for the trip. I had contacted them numerous times and I still didn't have my passport, which means I also didn't have my visa. And so I was starting to panic, and so I called my friend in DC, or I texted my friend in DC, one of my friends in DC, probably a few of them when I come to think about it, and she happened to be in Paris. I'm like, I need somebody to go to the embassy and physically get my passport. I can't leave on a trip to travel all over the world without a passport. This is going to be a total disaster. Well, Melanie is in Paris. She's not in DC, but she texts one of her friends, Christine, who says that she'll do it. She'll go to the embassy and she'll get my passport. So she goes to the embassy to get my passport, and they tell her no, she can't have my passport, and she kind of gives up. But then she calls me and we talk, and she goes back later and she gets a little bit aggressive when they get aggressive with her, and she gets the passport, but she can't just give it to me. She's got to send it to me, and she can't send it to me at my house because I'm not at my house. I'm in Texas, and I'm leaving the very next day for Amsterdam, and I can't even go if I don't have a passport. So she overnights it to me in Texas, hoping that it'll get to me in my hotel in time, and it does. It gets to me on time, and I get my passport, but now it doesn't have a visa for Pakistan because they weren't able to finish it. So I go to Amsterdam, and then I fly from Amsterdam to Karachi, Pakistan, and the people who I'm meeting with have assured me that they'll take care of things at the airport, which sounds a little bit suspicious, but I put my hope in that. And here's a crazy thing. Flying from Amsterdam to Pakistan, in Amsterdam, certain drugs like marijuana are legal to smoke even in certain public places. They have a much freer perspective on drug use there. As you're flying into Karachi, they make an announcement on the plane that it's a capital offense to be caught with drugs in the country, especially bring them in. You will be executed if you have drugs. So I was flying from a place where drugs are relatively okay to a place where it's a capital crime. So anyway, plane lands, I get to the airport, I get out, they want to see my visa. I say I don't have one. They're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, there's some guy who I don't know, I think is going to bribe somebody. I didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure that was the program. Going to slip somebody some money to fill out some forms at the airport. We're going to do a visa on arrival, which really isn't a thing in Karachi, which is why it takes you a couple of months. So I get there, I get taken to this room, I'm sitting there all by myself, they take away my passport, and I'm in Karachi, Pakistan with no passport. Somebody shows up, it's not the guy I was waiting for, but some money changes hands, some forms are filled out, and I'm allowed to leave the airport. But that's not the end of the story, because we get to the hotel and there are containers, like containers that go on the backs of trucks and trains. There are these huge containers, like go on container ships, surrounding the hotel. There's a wall with barbed wire surrounding the hotel in Karachi there, the Movenpick Hotel, and then there's containers, and I asked, why are there containers around the wall? And they said that's an extra barrier, so if people try to explode truck bombs, it doesn't even break through the wall. And I said, oh, so does that happen here? And they said, yes, at this exact hotel, it used to be called the Sheraton. In 2002, there was a truck bomb detonated and 14 people were killed. They rebranded it as the Movenpick, but this is that place, so that was the place that I got to stay. So needless to say, that's a little unnerving, but I'm trying to stay positive here. And then so somebody comes from the organization I'm speaking for to pick me up, and I get in their car and we drive away. And as soon as we leave the hotel, get through the security to leave the hotel, this man climbs into the back of the car and he's carrying an AK-47, and he's the security guard for the man that I'm with, which made me feel good that I was with somebody who had a security guard, but it made me feel bad that I needed somebody with an AK-47 on my team. And that wasn't the end of the story, because then I was going to speak for them at the Karachi Yacht Club, I believe it was, and they had a dress code at the Karachi Yacht Club that you had to have dress shoes, and I speak in pink pants and pink tennis shoes. I didn't have any dress shoes, so at the last minute people were running around Karachi, Pakistan trying to find dress shoes for me so that I would be legally allowed to enter the yacht club, that their strict dress code wouldn't keep me out of the yacht club after I barely even made it into the country. So that's just one of the craziest stories of things that I've ever experienced as a speaker and as a traveler. I'd love to hear from you in one of your bed talks or in the comments below. Tell me about a crazy travel experience that you've had. This has been my 10th, I think, bed talk. Have a great day.